Millions of people across the country marching as we speak against the policies of President Trump. This is Boston. Look at that. Look at this. Millions of people across the country marching as we speak against the policies of President Trump. This is Boston. Look at that. Look at this. Millions of... All right, Shalom. I want to give all praises to Yahweh, Ba'Hashem, Yahushai, Ba'Hashem, Karkadash. Double honor to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Salutations to all the brothers and a few sisters out there. Once is like foreigners from the seed of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Shalom in the Hebrew, which means peace. Look at that. Look at the majority of people that's out there to protest. I believe they had a No Kings protest all over the United States of America as a show of force, a show of disagreement with Nero, Trump. And they're not going to show this in regular TV. They might show it pop here and there, but they're not going to really put this out there like that, because of the simple fact is this is distractions of distractions of distractions. So believe it or not, I think I said this before in previous shows, that even the whole Iran war, which is real, is also a distraction. The real thing is the RFID microchip, which is the mark of the beast. So anything else other than that's being spoken or being shown, like the Epstein list and all these things, this catastrophe that's going around in the United States or around the world, is all a distraction from the main thing. So this No Kings people across the country, this No Kings protest, which was real, showing that the people, or the great show of force, is completely disagreeing with the current president and his monstrous policies and his actions, because this man he's out of his fucking mind, which is highly entertaining. This is like the spoof scary movies, but in real life. If you know, you know. Because this guy right here, Trump, he is he is Comedy Central. Oh, you know what he remind me? It just hit me. Anybody that watched Naked Guns, the character that Leslie Nielsen, he's like that. He just like, because it's a spoof comedy, and that's how he is. So the people are rising up to the occasion, and all these people, a lot of them are going to be gone. But this shows that the show of force, the show of displeasure, and this is going to lead to the uprising of the people, because of certain policies. Gas prices are going up. More people about to lose their jobs. Food is about to go up. Rent's about to go up. The rent is already up. And here in New York City, the borough of, Manhattan is the main city. So that's the main city. When you think of New York City, that's the city. They're already talking about like $5,000 for rent. I think it's a 1 or 2 bedroom, I'm not too sure. In Brooklyn, which Brooklyn always had Brooklyn was like the lowest, not the lowest of the low, but the reputation of Brooklyn throughout history is never been good. So most of poor people live in Brooklyn and the Bronx. And Brooklyn, their average rent is like $4,000. Okay, so the average rent in New York City now is like $4,000. That alone should make people fucking lose their fucking mind. That alone, the policies that's being passed alone should make the people lose their mind.
So this whole war thing, that's just the beginning of many uprising. And in ICE, that's another thing the people should be uprising. But before ICE, before all this crap, when it was going after your children and it was giving your children rights to mutilate themselves without your consent, all right, that when people were supposed to be uprising. So the average American are stupid, lazy, retarded, all that good stuff. All right. The breaking point is coming soon. The breaking point is coming real soon. Second Ezra 9:1, it says, "And he answered me then and said, Measure thou the time diligently in itself." So what is the measuring? What is the measuring stick? Well, it doesn't say it here, but when you go into the scriptures, when it speaks of measure, like Revelations 11:1, I believe, 11:2, is referring to judge. All right. So you judging something, you eyeball something, you judging it, right? You want to make sure you eyeball some things like, oh no, no, this side is too high than the other side. You judging it. So you have to judge the times diligently. By what? By the news, by the things that's being seen. The unseen things that you hear, the whispers, even to the seen things you see with your own eyes. I was talking to one of the bros. He said, was, just talking. But in the ancient world, if you brought television or so forth, they think it's straight up witchcraft. All right. So they did not have news that broadcast all over. It was by the word of mouth. All right. Showing that when we have the media, television, it's witchcraft. It foresees what's going on in the world. That's why you have television shows. Television shows, which are programs, to program you to think a certain way. But when you have live things, is channeling what you're seeing. So now we get to measure, we get to judge and channel things for what we can see far away more than ever. So the Lord gave us plethora of things to look out for. All right. We have a lot of things to measure according to what the Lord said. So we judging things according to what the Lord said. And we all come to the one unison saying like this is the end. All right. Every day things are speeding up. It's hard to keep up what's going on. Some things are fake. The way this current leader is, the things that he say so loosely, so freely, is like this is surreal, you know? But this is judgment. It says, when I see as part of the signs pass, which is going to give you a laundry list, not a laundry list, but it's going to give you a short list. And that's how we measure what we see. And we come to the understanding fully what's happening, which I have told thee before. So, matter of fact, since I'm in Second Ezra, let me get this real quick. Second Ezra 15:1. Behold, speak thou in the ears of my people the words of prophecy, which I will put in thy mouth, saith the Lord. And cause them to be written in paper, for they shall be for they are faithful and true. So we used this book as the measurement for the events that's taking place. All right. And this is how we determine everything. Habakkuk 2:3 it tells you Habakkuk said he was standing at his post, at his watch. What is our watch? We're watchmen. Okay, we watch for the danger. So now we come to the point where we don't have to say much. And when the average person catches up to us, and we are gonna have the honor to move forward because we always been ahead of everybody. And that's the spirit. I was telling the brother I was gonna have to do a show on this before I even know where I'm gonna, how it's gonna come. But we always been ahead of everybody. Okay, don't take for all you brothers and a few sisters out there. Don't take this thing lightly. You've been light years ahead of everybody. Everybody else is just catching up. All right, and if they're fortunate to catch up, they could see the calamity, but they can't see the outcome. There's a big difference between us and them. There's life after America. There's life after this place is done, but people can't see that because they're not granted that. So the people, the uproars of the people, which is going to go into the local person, they don't. What they feel is not, which they have every right to feel the way they feel, because what they've been taught was a lie their whole entire life. All right, they really believe in the bullshit that they've been taught, and to see that these things are causing their world to come to an end. They're not they're not uprising for righteousness' sake. They're uprising to maintain that lie that they always had. All right. The white picket fence, the 6-figure jobs and all this bullshit, this materialistic things that keep this going. We don't need wars. One group is like, we don't need ICE. Another group said we got to get all these illegals out of here. Another group will say, oh, um, they would just take Jake's side just to try to be down, like they had nothing. It was our forefathers. Oh, we're so evil. There's so many different divisions within this place that it's shattered. There's nothing united about it. It says, then shall thou understand that in the very same time wherein that the highest will begin to visit the world which he made. So visiting now doesn't mean like the Lord's coming on vacation to have a good time. Visiting is meaning he's coming closer. All right. Once the Lord has to come down, get off his throne for any reason, judgment is about to be heavy. All right. Now, why you think the Lord have the prophets out there in the highways and byways to tell what's to come? What did this guy call? Which everybody knows, the prophets of doom. All right. He's trying to upset prophecies, but leading right into prophecies, showing we plenty of shows showing you that the Lord controls both sides. All right. It says, therefore, when there shall be earthquakes and uproars of the people, then shalt thou will understand that the Most High spake of those things from the days that were before thee, even from the beginning. So the Lord Ben said these things was going to happen. And the average person is starting to realize the lives that they've been living was always a lie. All right. It's what they're trying to do is completely go against the core foundation of you. All right. This is where humanity comes along, so to speak. Despite all the wickedness that most people do, there's a reason why a lot of nations that was on top did horrific things in history, yet something was is like they was holding themselves back for certain things because of the simple fact they knew that they had to work with the environment that they had. All right. But Esau is like he's a monster. Uh, Straight up. They did nothing but monsters. They did nothing but you can't even call them animals because animals don't do what they do. Because within everything that exists, that lives, they try to maintain themselves by multiplication, by multiplying, of course, having sex and bringing their own self back, or just to survive. So even in the animal, it's like Esau is beyond anything that he could think of. All right, even animals don't do the things that they do. Even the insect world don't do. So they go against everything that the Lord created. That's why the scripture says. I, I quoted it. I might as well go and get it. It says Habakkuk I saw that 3. It says, for the vision is yet for an appointed time. What vision is that? The vision of the end, the prophecies. All right. The prophecies were some prophets, visions, some dreams. It was about the future. A lot of them couldn't explain of what they seen because it was the future. All right. They didn't live it. So can you imagine you seeing something that is so far from the what you recognize even in the past, and that's what they saw. Matter of fact, I brought this here for a reason. Just can't remember off top. Let's see something. Maybe 14, but you know what? I'm not gonna do that. Um, Prophets. Matthew's 13 and 17. For verily I say unto you that many prophets and righteous men have desired to see those things which you see, what you see. And what was the Lord speaking about? He was speaking about him being there with them. All right, because the Lord was long awaited. Right now, the rats with small hats, they still looking for a Messiah. All right, they still looking for a Messiah. We already know we have a Messiah, and his name is Yahushua. That was one. Also, what it also was spoken of is the prophecies. All right, and the Lord allowed them to see the future. So you can imagine what they said. He stayed with them for 40 days, I think. Well, I haven't read it in a while. After he resurrected, the Lord stayed with them for a period of time. So they said the things that the Lord was doing, there's not enough books in the world um, that could could contain what the Lord was doing back then. He was showing them all sorts of things, right? You have the Lord, the Most High Yahweh, when He spoke to Moses and He told them secret things not to write down. All right. Ezra, the same thing. So it's about secrecy of the good juicy stuff, the meat, so to speak. It says, yes, and the Lord, Moses talked to Yahweh. The Lord said, and it's as effed up it is the way what you want to call himself, General Nathaniel. Yeah, he's a general now, and the way he's teaching it, that every time you read about the Lord in the Old Testament, it was Yahweh Shai. Which is reading comprehension. This is why you gotta look up words. It even shows you when is the capital letter Lord translated. It says Yahweh. So Yahweh and Yahweh Shai is two different people. But that's a lie this guy's trying to maintain, just to eliminate, just to sow in confusion. It says, let me read it again. For verily I say unto you, that many prophets and righteous men have desired to see those days which you see and have not seen them, and to hear the things which you hear, and not and have not heard them, because it was given to a few people to understand this thing. All right. Hey, even this is the same chapter. Matter of fact, I'm going up. It says Matthew 13:9. It says, "And who have ears, let him hear." And the disciples came and said unto him, Why speakest thou unto them in parables? And he answered and said unto them, talking about his disciples, because it is given unto you to know the mysteries of the kingdom of heaven, but to them it is not given. So it's not given to the average person. So this is a open secret. Only a few can tell this thing. All right. So back in Habakkuk, so that vision is not given to the world. It's not given to all Israel. It was given to a few. So it says, for the vision is yet for an appointed time. So all the stuff that the prophets seen that they didn't understand, it was for this appointing time and this particular time, this particular space. All right, these particular hours. That's what they saw. They saw the for their time, and they saw the future. They saw what we live in. We're the living testament of everything. So throughout time and space, the word of the Lord reigns supreme. Okay? He reigns supreme. And it says, and not it shall speak and not lie. So it's speaking, meaning it's coming to fruition, it's coming to life. So though it tarry, wait for it. So we're not in the tarrying business no more. We are we're in it. All right. Everything that is written in this book is happening right before our eyes. Right before our eyes. And we've seen the downfall of our enemy and the uproars of the people. The people are upset. They know that they've been living a lie. Now everybody's unplugged. I was talking just sometimes just talk to a brother and it will spark out mad things that you notice, right? The book of Revelation. What does Revelation means? In the Greek is apocalypse, right? Apocalypse. That's how it says it in the Greek, but it's apocalypse, right? And what does that means? The unveiling. So we're in a time of the unveiling. We're in a time of things are being exposed. That what is done in the dark shall be made uh, shall be known in the light. Okay, so whatever has been in the dark is the information age is here, where it is exposing. That's prophecy. All right, the internet taking place. That's prophecy. That's why Henry Kissinger made a bold statement. All right, the internet has been the worst thing that they just allowed to. They thought that they allowed to come to fruition, but it was the tool of the Lord to show everything. All right, because remember, this world don't believe in the Heavenly Father, and the Most High wants it that way. Yahweh Bashem Yahushai so bad that He created His own enemies, His own doubters. So He used tools on earth to show, expose the wicked, and people are pissed. People are vexed. All right, they're vexed in the spirit to see these demonic shit that's been going on in front of their eyes. All right, YouTube alone, YouTube alone is just a whole school. You can learn to do anything on YouTube. That wasn't by accident. I remember, side note. But if you listen to old school hip hop, there was a time where 80s, late 80s, 90s, and everybody had their own style. And if you sound like this person or you spit like that person, you get called out. There's a term called swagger jacker, and Jake took pride in you took pride in being different from everybody else. But what people fail to understand, this word, the words that come out your mouth is not your own. Those thoughts that you come out your mind is not of your own. You know, everybody like, oh, I started this style, I started that style. Hey, that's a spirit. All right. You didn't do nothing. There's nothing new under the sun. All that does bring in pride. So everything that is done has been done. All right. So this is why people always have the feeling like deja vu. Yeah, it's been done already. And we're entering the same way of the second death as the first death. The only difference is the Lord is allowing not 8 souls, He has an elected few to make it out of here. And that's the mercy of the Lord. So everything is taking place. It's not holding back no longer. It says, behold, his soul which is lifted up is not upright in him, which is talking about whose soul? Esau. All right. His soul is not upright. The Lord created man, and man, what it said, the Lord created man to be upright, but they sought out many inventions. But the man that the Lord had settled upright was the nation of Israel. The Lord didn't give a damn about the other nations. He just let them to their own devices. But by the Lord allowing them to be in their own devices, that madness spread because all this is happening is because we as a people went off. All right. So the chapter is done. The end is here. you know, the end is here. And you could clearly see, but now the people, what are they doing? They're yearning for righteousness. Okay. That's what's really happening. When you see all these people doing what they're doing, and they know in their heart, which is their mind, the depths of their mind, that things that's being done around them is not right, then you understand is the soul of man that seek something better. All right, they're seeking something better, and they've been taught a lie. They've been taught a lie their whole entire life. Now they want to rebel against the shit that they've been told, starting with the person that's on top. All right, it's a dangerous game, despite we know that the Lord is propping these people up. What I mean, these people, the people that's in position of power, they're being propped up. All right, everything that they're doing is to get them massacred. Because let's just look at this. Going back to this real quick. It's hopefully still there.
Everyone,
Oh, this
truth is
motherfucker.
stranger than fiction. My wife and I went to see.
There's a Rabbi Shmuley. He's a demon. But for all these people doing the stuff that they're doing, deep down in their mind, they know what's going on around them is not right. They just can't put a finger to it. They're seeking righteousness, and this is where you know that the people that claims to be the Israelites, which they call themselves Israelis, they're not the real people. Because if that's the case, all these people would have been clamoring to go to Jerusalem to learn what those people know, but they're not. Hey, even these Christians, there's a lot of Christian spots in Jerusalem that's being destroyed, not by Iran. Okay, so the people realize that something is off. Something major is off, and they know from that the leaders that they have, They're wicked. They're evil. They know that for a fact now. And they don't know how to do this their way. And it's like the scripture says, if hand join in hand, the wicked should not be unpunished. So they could stand there and do their thing, singing kumbaya, oh Lord, and get us out of here, this, that to the third, and the Lord's not gonna hit them. He's gonna judge them because hey, the Lord created his enemies. That's a lot of motherfuckers. That's a lot of people. And if I see somebody that put in one of my comments or one of my videos about my language, man, fuck that. You can't see this world's on fucking fire. you know, you about there's wars and more wars. That's the least of your worries. Oh, always they all like to say, "Fuck, this is cussing. This is a curse." No, curse is it calling the Lord like how we curse Esau, Babylon the Great. All right, in the name of the Lord to tear this place apart, to bring evil. That's a curse. When you say fuck, shit, damn, whatever, those are not curses. All right, and all these people are full of shit. They're all full of shit. Every last one of them. The Lord's about to judge every last one of these people. They could sit there, cry, and be confused their whole entire life. Because amongst those people are a bunch of abominable people. All right? A lot of people doing shit just to say, oh, I did that. It says, behold, his soul which is lifted up is not upright in him, but the just shall live by faith. And the just is the righteous. All right? The righteous is going to live by faith. They're going to live by their means. Okay? Slowly but for surely, the Lord's putting in our minds that we don't need much. All we need is him, and that's it. Everything else is playing out. Remember, people are catching up. They're trying to catch up. And the way sometimes people be talking is, you might meet a person that sound like they were down all these years. They might say the right thing because they start catching up. They think they caught up. All right. But they still wicked. They still have a animalistic behavior because they don't believe in anything. Okay. And soon we're not gonna have to say a damn thing, like it says in Ezekiel. Ezekiel, the third chapter. Yep, 3:26. And I will make thy tongue to cleave with the roof of thy mouth, that thou shalt be dumb. So, the word dumb doesn't mean you're stupid. The word dumb means you can't speak. It says, and shall not be to them a reprover, when I mean a corrector. No more correction. No more telling people to get right. All right. Those days are running out. Those days are over. And we go out there in the highways and byways. To this day, people still don't stop by. And I say about to this day, knowing all this shit that's going on in the world, they still don't ask no questions. No, once in a blue, somebody will come up, ask an intelligent question, and you feel good. You're like, oh, because at the end of the day, it's not us. It's the word of the Lord. We're looking for the righteous souls. But that shows you how much people do not believe in the Lord. All right, there's gonna be more unbelievers than believers. So we're not gonna go out there correcting anybody no more. All things left is judgment. But they are a rebellious house. And that rebellious house is talking about the nation of Israel, which are Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. All right, you are, if you from your father's line, if that's you are the Israelites, or everything that's happening, World War III, the economy collapsing, race wars, all that is for us All that's for us. There's no peace needs to be made in this world. The quicker that you understand that, the better it would be. All right? Because this man has he made us enemies long ago. You're just not catching up to the fact who these people are. So the uproars of the people is right before us. Which means what? Going back to 2 Ezra 9:5. But like as all that is made in the world have a beginning and end, the end is manifest. So everything in the world does have a beginning and an end. Trends, life goes on, but it's manifest, meaning it's publicly out there. Can't escape it. And we cannot escape the set judgment. America is going to be destroyed by thermonuclear destruction. And the Lord himself, Yahweh Shai, put an icing in the cake with all the holy angels to destroy this place. The greatest altar in human history. Soon to be the greatest desert in the world. So with that being said, shalom to the elect of the nations. Shalom.